This is William K. Mert, Mert Witness 1, and today we are going to talk about diversions. 7910 or 1079, can't remember which way I put it when I tweeted it, but the principal subject is diversions. Now, for the past 2 or 3 days, I have come to the attention of someone that has been dubbed the Blizzard Witch. She seems to have a problem with my YouTube channel. And, in some ways, I suppose that would be normal, because, after all, this is the quote-unquote enemy we're talking about here. The individual that has been the subject of criticism by me and others for her alleged actions recently. But there's something else interesting about her little posts on her Facebook page. The first of these is the tone of the post. She's trying to get me riled up, trying to get me mad. She's also trying to discredit my channel. Again, I can understand this because there's a reason for it. This is a tactic that the trolls are using on social media right now to try and get people reported and accounts suspended. They try and get you mad to where you say and do things that are in violation of the terms and service of the various people that carry these social media accounts. You didn't get reported. They say, yeah, you're violating TAS. We're going to put you on probation. We're going to suspend your account, blah, blah, blah. That's tactic number one. Ain't going to work. I've been down this road for 10 years, and I know the game, and I know how to play it. And something else. This is where we get into diversion. She's trying to get me off the scent. There's something going on that's making this woman nervous. There's something going on that wants her to get me off track. Maybe she wants me to keep arguing with her for the reason I stated before, or maybe she just simply wants me to quit discussing a certain subject, which isn't going to work. And what subject is that? Well, there's a number of them actually, and this is where we get into the 1079 half of my topic today. Now, the 10, which is a new number, is the number of days that Timothy Charles Homseth has not been heard from at all. There has been no Facebook post. There has been no YouTube. There has been no TimothyCharlesHomseth.com. There has been absolutely nothing. Tim has gone dark. Now, he may have gone on vacation, may have gone down to see his granddaughter with his daughter, wherever they may be. He may have snuck up to Minnesota to see his parents. Who knows? He may be perfectly all right, but there is also the possibility that something sinister is going on. See, a short while ago, a couple days ago as a matter of fact, I made a video. And that video discussed the possibility that Timothy Homseth may have been assassinated, or at the very least, has been silenced. All communication has been cut off. That maybe he is gone rogue, and they're having to contain him. They're going to hold him hostage and convince him that it's wise that he does as he's told, or else. Something along those lines. Because all of a sudden, just like a light switch going off, bam, nothing. He didn't say, well, folks, I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to go away from the internet a while. I'll be back in a couple weeks, whatever. He just disappeared. just like he never existed in the first place. Very little is being written about him. There'll be a couple posts here and there saying, "Oh, Timmy, we support you. You're doing the greatest thing in the world." Some videos show up. But if you examine those videos closely, you'll notice something. They're not new. They're old. They're stuff that's been discussed in the past before. This, no fresh material, no orders from President Trump, nothing. And we have Phil McConnell, who has been in jail for 79 days. And yes, Phil gets on line usually about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He gets on there and he does his conspiracy theory stuff. Armageddon, deep state, you name it, he does it. So he keeps his thing going, hour at a time. But there's other stuff going on, and it's the reason for this diversion. Now remember, there is a case, I should say, in Colorado right now, where people are being accused of helping a woman kidnap her child from CPS, from foster parents. Somebody supplied that woman with at least one gun and a car. That woman had been in discussions with Phil McConnell and other people who have yet to be named. It's alleged that a woman from Arkansas is being involved, and other people are being involved in this little plan. Now, this is aiding and abetting a kidnapping. You go to jail for things like that for a long time. And what people don't realize or don't seem to understand is that lives are put in jeopardy because of this little plan. If things had gone south, people would have gotten killed. That's murder in the commission of a felony. That means that you get the same punishment as the person that pulled the trigger. And that would go for anybody and everybody involved in this little stunt. And so this has got to be on the mind of the Blizzard Witch. This has got to be on the mind of those around the Blizzard Witch. And we have to address what's going on with Timothy Holmseth. Did Timothy Holmseth start to understand how deep he's gotten himself into this? Did Timothy Charles Holmseth understand that maybe he's in very serious trouble and he tried to break away? And they said, "Oh, no, you don't. You're not going anywhere. You're just as much a part of this as we are. If we go down, you go down. You're staying right here. We're going to lock you in a room and we're going to take away your internet so you can't talk to people. We're going to isolate you." That might be what's going on. That's a possibility to consider. Tim Holmseth is a hostage. He's a prisoner. He's locked away. Now, he might be able to communicate, but it's going to be under a controlled situation. They're going to record the video, or they're going to watch the video while he's making it to make sure he doesn't violate the terms of the agreement for him to make the video. If he says the wrong word or tries to say something in code, they're going to be right there to punish him for it, to prevent him from saying it. The video will be recorded more than likely, so they can review it and make sure he says what he's supposed to and doesn't try to interject a code or something. Because these people are really into codes. In the same Facebook page that criticized me, there are all these little Q codes. Highlighted messages from President Trump. Q is trying to send you a message to Trump. All this business going on in Switzerland that Phil talked about yesterday. So these conspiracy theorists are just drowning themselves in their own theories. So they're going to be looking at every word that Timothy Charles Holmseth says if he ever comes back into the light. If he ever gets on the internet and says something or writes something, they're going to look at every letter, every word, every punctuation to make sure that he's not trying to send out a little code saying, help, I'm in trouble. I'm a hostage. I'm a prisoner. I'm being contained. I'm being shut up. That's a possibility. And what happens if the Blizzard Witch says, look, he's being talked about being in the dark. We got to do something here. We got to bring him out. We got to say something or do something to reassure people that Timmy is all right. Or they're going to start looking even harder. For every day that Tim Holmseth remains offline, out of sight and out of mind, people are going to start wondering what the hell's going on. It's already starting to happen. I've seen the comment already. Where is Tim? And the only friend that Tim Holmseth has, the only person that has stuck with Tim for the last 10 years, that has gone to war with me over what I say about Tim, is worried. She's angry, and she wants answers. She's out there asking questions, and these questions are not being answered. And believe me, with this person, that's not a good thing, because she has resources, and she can make trouble. She can make more trouble than me. Believe me. I've had experience with this woman. So if something bad has happened to Tim Holmseth, she's going to know about it. She'll find the answers. And she'll make somebody pay. So it's not me that the Blizzard Witch needs to worry about. It's this unnamed friend of Timothy Charles Holmseth that'll stick by Timothy Charles Holmseth until the day she dies. She's extremely loyal. And mark my words, she's going to be the one to get to the bottom of all this. And so I would suspect that they're going to come to realize that, whoever is behind this situation, and they're going to have to come up with an answer. And they're going to have to come up with it fast. For if we get into a day 11, day 12, day 13, day 14 of not hearing from Timothy Holmseth, people are going to get increasingly worried. They're going to start contacting the daughter and say, have you heard from your father? They're going to contact the parents and say, have you heard from your son? And if the daughter says, no, I haven't heard from him in over a week. I haven't heard from him in 2 weeks. Same thing with the parents. They're going to start to get worried. So this is something that they probably hadn't thought through, if this is what's going on. That at some point, somebody's going to start asking questions. They're going to start wanting to know what happened to Timothy Holmseth. So Timothy Holmseth is going to have to be brought out of the dark. And he's going to have to be brought out of the dark in a way that will convince people that nothing is wrong. That Tim is perfectly fine, that he just took a few days off, maybe went down and visited Noah's Ark in Kentucky or wherever the hell that thing is. And all this has been for nothing. But then why all this attention? Which gets me back to our main little message and another point that was made. Now, she calls me an old man. And I am. I'm 69 years old. But so is Field McConnell. Field McConnell's no spring chicken. He's 70 years old. So he's an old man. I mean, they play the sympathy card. They say, oh, this poor old man that is stuck in jail. He's going to get sick and die in jail, all because of the lawyer in Florida. You know, so they play the old age card depending on the direction they want to go with it, which I find rather telling. So here we are. I'm old man. But again, this is probably to get me riled up. to get me mad, to where I'll say something where I break the rules, and then they rush off and write a letter to Twitter or Facebook or YouTube saying, oh, this mean old man hurt my fee-fees. He called me names and accused me of things. There's all kinds of things this woman could do to try and shut me up. Because that's what's going on here. She wants to shut me up. The last thing she wants is me on YouTube day in and day out. She doesn't want me on Twitter day in and day out. She wants me offline because I am striking a nerve. There's something going on here. Now, basically, all I'm doing is voicing my opinion. I'm saying what a lot of other people are saying, that there's something fishy going on. I'm getting all kinds of information that I haven't disclosed yet because I'm fact-checking, getting all the details in place. But the Cynthia Abzug thing has really set off a lot of alarms with a lot of people. And a couple of people have expressed that they're nervous that they may have gotten into something that they are regretting, that they may be implicated. And I've advised these individuals that they seek out a really, really lawyer. Don't go to Pendergrass or people like him, and definitely don't go to the Blizzard Witch. Get yourself a real lawyer, because you're in something that's really serious. And the second piece of advice is to cooperate with authorities. If you feel there's been criminal activity, you best go and say, I want to turn state's witness, I want immunity from prosecution, I want some protection, but, I got roped into something that I didn't intend to get roped into, and want to help in whatever way it can be done to get me out of this situation. And I told him, I say, you might go to jail for a little while. There's no guarantees. But if you don't come forward and these investigations continue, you're going to be in a lot worse shape then than you would be if you came forward and cooperated with the authorities. And so this might be what's got people worried right now. Because there's talk that says, hey, I've seen cars with government license plates in town. I've seen unfamiliar cars, unfamiliar people, well-dressed people walking around. Maybe they were in a diner someplace and saw two men well-dressed in suits, bulges in their coat pockets or behind their coats where there may be a chest holster, thinking something's up here. And the so-called men in black with conservative haircuts, the butch cuts as we call them, the military cuts. People that don't belong in that town, people that never were in that town. Not some construction worker or truck driver passing through. Too well dressed for that. Too disciplined looking. Maybe this is what's got these people worried. Because remember, a lot of these people are from these really, really small towns. And if a stranger shows up and starts acting a certain way, people are going to know it. And they're going to say, wait a minute, something's not right here. With everything that's been going on with Abzug and Homeseth and McConnell, all of a sudden we got these strangers hanging around. What's going on here? What's with all these black Suburbans running around, or the tan-colored Impalas and rental car license plates? What gives? And this brings me to a related matter. The Blizzard Witch brought up my Patreon account my fundraising efforts. Now, why is she so concerned with this? Maybe she wants to call me a hypocrite because here I am accepting donations and I criticize Field and Timothy for the same thing. Well, here's the difference. Field McConnell claims that there's this Pentagon pedophile task force and that he's trying to get this veterans ranch out in Texas and that he's got this children's crusade to save all these thousands of children and so forth, and he needs money to do that. That's a fraud. I pointed out why. There is no Pentagon pedophile task force. Doesn't exist, and it's a crime to say that it does, and that you represent that if you're going to take donations for it. It's a crime anyway, but generally there's so many of these things going on, the government usually doesn't get too involved unless they're forced to. And this is what's happened because people have bugged the living daylights out of various government agencies, and it's also been pointed out that there's a lot of money floating around. And so this has caused the government to get involved in this situation. And plus it's getting attention to the government that there's groups out there that would stoop to violence to attain their goals. And so the government's having to look into this. And so this is why I criticize Field McConnell and Timothy Homestead. And my main reason for criticizing these two individuals, which the Blizzard Witch seems to have forgotten, is that they are falsely accusing the mother of 3 children of something that she did not say and did not do. And they've done it again, quite recently. They will not leave this woman alone. And so and they've included me in this. This is something the Blizzard Witch forgot, rather conveniently, is that she is the one that brought me into all this. It is she that put me on her radar. There is a picture of me at the Orange County Sheriff's Department that I had taken of me. Now, she doesn't know the circumstances behind why I was there, which is unfortunate for her, because she didn't do her homework. And neither did Tim, for that matter, because he's probably the one that gave her the picture. But she didn't bother to ask herself a few questions. Number 1, why was I at the Orange County Sheriff's Department? Question number 2, what was in the briefcase I was holding? Next question, I was in front of an Orange County Sheriff's police car at the police station, which is parked in an area that the public is not authorized to access. How did I gain access to that area? It is quite clear that the Blizzard Witch does not know the layout of the Orange County Sheriff's Department and where sheriffs park their cars and who is not allowed in that area. Next question, who took the picture? Did I set up a camera in the middle of their parking lot in a secure area and take a selfie? I had a briefcase in one hand, I had nothing in the other hand, I'm just standing there. Civilians are not allowed in that area. So who took the picture? I'm not going to answer those questions. You can. I don't know if this question was asked in the video. I'm not going to rewind it, but the one obvious question people should be asking, why was I at the Orange County Sheriff's Department holding a briefcase? What was I doing there? I wasn't under arrest. Didn't have any handcuffs on. You don't take selfies of somebody that's under arrest. I wasn't in any kind of distress. In fact, I was in a pretty good mood because I know I was there. But the Blizzard Witch doesn't. She doesn't know why I was there. I'm sure there'll be all kinds of speculation. Somebody will come out and say, oh, it's probably this reason, that reason. But are you sure that was the reason? There are people that know why I was there. This was a long time ago. And guess what? Since the day I was there, there's some people that are no longer on the internet. A lot of them. One guy went to jail in Kentucky. Another guy went to jail in Canada. A couple of other people just disappeared completely off the internet. They're no longer around. One in particular in Atlanta has vanished. So then ask yourself, what was I doing at the Orange County Sheriff's Department way back when? Look hard, you might find the answer. But the Blizzard Witch doesn't like the fact that I'm trying to raise money. And what did I say I was going to use that money for? Oh, I said I was going to go to Fort Lauderdale and cover the trial of Phil McConnell when he gets there. That much is true. I'm going to be doing that. But I said something else too. I said, you know, I'd like to go up and visit Plum City, Wisconsin. I'd like to look around up there. Because, you know, by the time I'd go to Plum City, Wisconsin, the house would be foreclosed upon. And what usually happens in foreclosures before there's an auction or the realtor has it, they have open houses. And wouldn't it be nice if there was an open house at Phil McConnell's house, if the bank gets control of it, and I go in there with my little GoPro or my little iPhone or my little Android phone. I take pictures of the inside of Phil's house so everybody gets an idea of what this house looked like way back when Phil McConnell was doing his webcast there. And there's a studio. Wouldn't it be interesting to go down and kind of look around this old wooden-sided building where the studio is? There's another business in there, you know. It's not just Phil McConnell and his little radio station. There's actually another business in there. And so I would suspect that Phil McConnell's business is in the basement of that building or in a room somewhere. That may be the room that's in the picture. And if they did all this from his quote-unquote studio, so maybe that's where Tim was all this time, is in this studio. Maybe they threw him in a room upstairs in the studio. He never even saw the inside of Phil McConnell's luxurious mansion. All this time he's been in a centuries-old house in the middle of town. Probably had a guard with him. Maybe that's where he is at now. Who knows? Or he's at somebody's house in Minnesota, stuck in the basement. I also said that I wanted to go up to Minnesota. Look around Minnesota. Go up to Crookston, East Grand Forks. Maybe go over and order myself a pizza where Tim used to work. Interesting conversation might come up. I might go over and talk to the sheriff, city police. Say, hey, you know, you guys want to have an interview about Timmy and your experience with him? Maybe I'd go over to the National Weather Service, talk to those folks. Could always look up the newspaper that Tim used to work for. Ask them, hey, you know, can I talk to you about Tim Holmseth? You know, what was your working relationship with him? You know, strike up a conversation with some of the staff at that newspaper. Oh, I could have all kinds of fun up there. Might even want to persuade Tom Morrissey and Chad Cater to talk to me personally about their experiences with all this. Wouldn't that be interesting? That is up to them. I mean, that hasn't been suggested by them. It's an idea I came up with. Say, I would like to go up and I would like to personally meet Tom. And I would like to meet Chad Cater. Chad Cater's got an interesting little boat that I would love to take a look at. It's like a little submarine. I would love to take a look at that thing. It's really neat. I haven't been able to find anybody around Florida that has one of those, and I've been looking because that really, I'm into technology and stuff like that, and that submarine's a really interesting little thing there that Chad has. So I'd like to talk to Chad. I'd like to ask him if he wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details on camera about what the hell happened with him and Timothy Holmseth. How'd he get involved with Tim? Exactly what happened? Maybe go down and do a stand-up in front of the courthouse where all this went down. Talk to the judge that presided over Tim's case. You know, talk to some of the U.S. Marshals that showed up. You know, those guys were local to the area, those U.S. Marshals. It's easy enough to look them up and say, hey, you guys, can I get a statement on you guys? You know, maybe not. You know, U.S. Marshals are funny guys. Some of them may open up, some of them may not. You know, that depends on what their instructions were. And I could also get in there and get my hands on a lot of information out of the court that I was not able to do through the clerk's office. But number one, it's cheaper to get this stuff personally than it is to keep, you know, ripping out Plastic Man every time I need a piece of paper from the court. Because it costs a lot of money. I can get in there and get on their computers or personally talk to the clerk and say, hey, how can I get this stuff? And they say, well, we can give it, you know, you're standing here, we'll give it to you right now. I'll just zap it off the printer at 10 cents a copy. And so I can get a lot of stuff from the court that I can't get down here in Florida. That goes for Plum City. Boy, that's a small town. I could strike up a lot of conversations out there. So I could have myself a fun old time in Plum City. And this is what's got the blizzard, which all bent out of shape. This is what's got people nervous. They don't want me in Minnesota. They don't want me in Arkansas. They don't want me in Wisconsin, and they don't want me in Colorado. They want me confined to the state of Florida. And the best way to keep me confined to Florida, in their minds, is to make sure that I don't get funding. To get me off the air so that I can't make noise. Get me off the air so that I can't bring attention to some of the sinister things that are going on. Because I've struck a nerve. I've struck a lot of nerves. People are worried. So they're trying to tell their people, they say, stay away from the desk of Mert Witness Live on YouTube. Stay away from Mert Witness 1 on Twitter. Stay away. Don't pay any attention to this old man. This old fool. Don't pay attention to him. Leave him alone. Let him die in silence. Stay away. Stay with us. Stay loyal to us. Don't research. Don't go out and ask questions. Ignore the outsiders. Don't engage with the outsiders. Block the trolls. Block the outsiders. They're trying to break you up with the truth. Don't let them break you up with the truth. keep them away. That's the message here. That's what's got the Blizzard Witch nervous. And it's not just me. I'm just a little player in this big game here. Yes, I've managed to grow my channel a little bit, but there's bigger fish out there. Agent 19, now there's somebody they really don't want on their radar. Because Agent 19 is articulate, he knows the law, he knows government, he knows a lot. He knows a lot more than me. And they particularly don't like him. They want to shut him up real quick. And look what they're doing to Monty. I mean, that's rich. I mean, the guy makes a movie. They don't like the subject in the movie. And so they accuse him of things. They've dragged him into the JonBenét Ramsey murder. And from the research I've done, Monty wasn't even in Colorado when that murder happened. You know, people don't do their homework and try to figure out where people were at. You know, it's easy enough to figure out where people were 20, 30, 40 years ago. And to see that there's no way in God's green earth that these people couldn't have been doing what they're accused of doing. And so that's what needs to be understood here. So the Blizzard Witch has given herself away with her little attention seeking on Facebook. Yeah, will she quit? I don't know. She could quit today and not say another word. But she's already said it. The things have already been archived. Everything she said about me, everything she said about everybody else has been archived. So if she were to delete everything today, it's too late. And the same goes for her supporters. Anybody that's reinforced this fantasy of hers has been archived. The internet's forever. Cannot delete anything. Because you noticed how fast all the stuff about Phil McConnell and Cindy Abchuk got deleted. And how fast the copyright strikes went out. That's kind of strange, isn't it? Because they don't comprehend that once you put something up on the internet, somebody's going to archive it the second it's put up. And that's what happened. People started archiving. Even before it was known exactly what was going on with the Abzug case, people had already archived it. The pieces came together when the woman got arrested. And people said, well, this is what's been going on. And of course, the problem with them is that law enforcement knew about it as well. Phil McConnell doesn't realize it. But he was screwed even before he was arrested for what happened in Florida. For what he said about the lawyer. He was already screwed. He was being investigated for his part in his attempted kidnapping. And I don't think any of these people, the Blizzard Witch or any of them, understand how far along the investigation had been going when Field got arrested for his little stunt with the lawyer. And have you ever wondered why Field McConnell was not allowed bail? Think about it. There were people in that county jail for very serious crimes. that got bail. Capital crimes, they got bail. They couldn't pay it, but they had bail. You know, somebody came up with $500,000 bail. This one guy could have gotten out of prison. Remember that picture I put up of Phil McConnell and the guy right underneath him or above him? And here's Phil McConnell, no bail, and this other guy with bail. That if somebody posted bail, this guy could get out of prison. And the crime that he was charged with. Go back and look at that. I posted that for a reason. Because this is a tactic that law enforcement uses. They arrest you for crime A. But if you're being investigated for crime B, C, D, and E, and F, say they suspect that you're involved in a plot to kidnap a child in the state of Colorado or wherever, they might go knocking on the door of the jailkeeper and say, hey, no bond. Or to state attorney, whoever has the authority to withhold bond, and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We got this undercover investigation going on into this, and we don't want this guy out of jail. He might, you know, he's a flight risk. And jailkeeper sitting there saying, well, Jesus, all it is it's a misdemeanor, it's a felony warrant. The state of Florida wants him on this warrant. You know, all he did was make death threats against a woman. He actually didn't do anything. I mean, it's felony stalking out of the state of Florida. You know, give him $100,000 bond or something like that. But no bond? You know, why? And he said, well, this is why. They say, this guy's involved in a plot to kidnap a child. It's alleged that he gave these people guns, and this person here is the daughter of a politician, so on and so forth. We can't have this guy out on the street. You know, people could get killed. And they say, okay, no bond. No bail. And that's why Phil McConnell's sitting in jail with no bail. It may have dawned on these people, or it may not have. But that's what is logical here. That makes sense now as to why a guy is locked up in a county jail for 79 days with no bail. Because federal law enforcement in the state of Colorado want him contained. They want him to have next to no communication with the outside world. They want him cut off. They know that he's stupid enough not to get an attorney. Because an attorney would be able to get the guy out of the situation by saying, hey, you need to cooperate. You need to tell the state of Colorado what the hell happened. And maybe you can get your ass out of this problem that you're in. Because you're facing something a hell of a lot worse than a stalking charge in the state of Florida. You're facing something that could get you the rest of your life in prison if you don't get smart. And so the controllers realize this. And the controllers say, Jesus, we got to keep him on. We got to keep him in jail. We got to keep him away from these people. Because he could say, hey, you know, what's going on here? You know, I'm going to go run into a lawyer or something because you guys got me in a lot of trouble. And so they've convinced him not to get a lawyer. Don't do that. You'd be giving into the system. You'd be all this legal mumbo jumbo that Kirk Pendergrass talked about. That, you know, you're a prisoner on a barge and dry dock. You know, this hocus pocus. This is a senile old man that would believe in this stuff. I mean, listen to the stuff he talks about on his daily shows. This guy is off his rocker. And given a skilled federal interrogator, FBI agent that knows how to interrogate people, has been trained to interrogate people, who has had years and years and years experience in interrogating people, getting them to break down, getting them to confess. If one of those people talks to Phil McConnell, everybody is screwed. And that's what they're worried about. So they're trying to keep him cut off. Saying, invoke your Miranda rights. Shut up. We'll allow you to do your little speeches. Read the scripts we send you. Don't go off script. Or else somebody on the other end will flip that switch. And you'll get cut off. And it won't be live. It'll be recorded so they can go through and make sure that you're not sending out messages. So there you go. They don't want me to get the funds I need to go to Wisconsin, to go to Minnesota, to go to Arkansas, to go to Colorado. They want me contained. They want me contained in the state of Florida. They want me off the air. That's the important thing to understand, is they want me off the air. They want Monty off the air. They want Agent 19 off the air. When they want Glow off the air. They want Rebecca off the air. They want anyone interfering with their plans off the air. They want to have free will to roam around unabated, unchallenged, to say and do what they want. And so we have this diversion. We have this smoke screen. We have this unmitigated nonsense going on. And in the midst of all this, Timothy Charles Holmseth suddenly vanishes from sight for 10 days. And like I said, it doesn't matter if Tim Holmseth suddenly appears. He says, hi everybody, I went on vacation, I went dark. Sorry I didn't say anything, I had to get away for a while. The stress was getting to me. It's too late for that. Because the timing is bad. Now, I see if they had, if Timothy had magically appeared, say, 8 days ago, 5 days ago, before all the theories started up and the questioning started up, they may have gotten away with it. But they waited too long. So if he does show up, fine. At least we know the jerk is alive. But that's not going to change anything, because people are going to be having in the back of their mind, why did he disappear for 10 days in the first place? Why didn't he say something? Why didn't Tim say, hey, I'm going dark for a few days. I'll be back. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Instead, he just shut the door and left. Oh, there's going to be claims of, oh, he was in a secret room. We have this group. We're all together. It's a secret room. We all talk to each other. We're all friendly. He's fine. I'm surprised that hasn't come out yet. And it might be true. He might be in a secret room. I mean, these things happen. I mean, I was in a secret room once. Had one set up over on Facebook. This is way back in the Anthony days. There were about a dozen of us. We sit there and chit-chat in private to keep the trolls at bay. And there's people out there today that know all about why that room was created and who was in it. We even had a brief round table. I flew up to where most of these people live. We sat down. We had a little bit of a talk, lasted about an hour. And then, went back to talking on the room when I got back to Florida. And then eventually, we all went our separate ways and the room went away. And there's a bunch of these out there. Everybody has them. So if that's where Tim is, yeah. But why not say so? Why say that, oh, Tim's around. You know, he's fine, he's safe. Don't worry. Those that know where he's at. Not even that. Just complete, absolute silence. Not a word. And that's what's suspicious about all this. And no matter what story they concoct today, no matter what happens, if by some miracle Tim Holmesett shows up, starts yammering away with some stupid theory, say, oh, I had to go and have a private meeting with President Trump. That's what I expect to come out of this. Is they're going to say, oh, Timmy's up in Washington having a secret meeting with Trump. Or he's having a secret meeting with the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force or some nonsense. That's what I expect. You know, some fishtail's going to come up as an excuse for why he's not around. But it's too late. You waited too long. And so now that suspicion is going to be there, no matter what happens. No matter how good he looks, no matter how bad he looks. It's too late. So I'm going to say this. Once again, it's kind of obvious that I was going to say it anyway. But if you feel that it would be beneficial for me to go to Wisconsin, to Colorado, to Minnesota, to Arkansas, to get some answers, the resources are there. You can go to my Patreon. People know my address. I mean, I've been doxxed to high heaven. You know, it's easy to find out where I live. But that's up to you. I mean, it doesn't make any difference to me if I succeed at this or not. And I'll do the best I can with the resources I have. But I'll tell you this. Based on what's been going on Facebook with the woman we're calling the Blizzard Witch, they're trying to cover something up. And they sure as hell don't want me poking around. Maybe somebody else can poke around. Maybe somebody up there in Wisconsin can poke around. Or somebody over in Minnesota can poke around. Because it would be nice to have some local eyes on this. People that know the territory. Know who to talk to. Because I'm going to be a stranger in a strange land if I go to these places. I'm going to have to do a lot of digging in unknown territory with unknown people. I'm not going to know what I'm going to get myself into up there. These people have violent tendencies. I may be walking into a trap. I may be spending my dying days in the woods someplace in Minnesota. You never know. But I'm willing to take that risk. Hell, I'm 69 years old. I'm an old man. You know, I've lived a full life. If I get killed in Minnesota because of the Blizzard Witch, oh well. Been a hell of a ride. But there's some strange stuff going on, and the noise you're hearing is my windshield wipers. It's raining out. I gotta get a new. I don't know why that's not turning off. I have to get a new set of windshield wipers. So sorry about that. Crazy damn thing. So that's where we're at here. The Blizzard Witch, for some reason, has decided that I need to be shut off. I need to be taken off the air. And that people shouldn't be giving me money. And she's calling me out because I've said that they're getting money under false pretenses. Using their Pentagon task forces and children's crusades to soak people out of money. And that I can't do it for a legitimate purpose. And she's trying desperately to do two things: keep people away from my channel and to get me taken off the air. Those are the two things she's trying to do here. She's done it to others that have channels. Because all the copyright strikes that have been done against those channels that have gotten some suspended, got some taken off the internet, have been because of one reason. And that's the conversations that Field McConnell had in relation to this kidnapping plot. Before then, there were no problems. The only one that got into copyright strikes and complaints to YouTube was Preacher Dan, because his fifis were getting hurt. People were calling him out for things he said and did. But not Bill McConnell. Bill McConnell took the hits. Bill McConnell didn't care until Cynthia got arrested. Then all of a sudden everybody cared. Everybody got worried and said, wow, we got a problem here. These people are retransmitting these telephone conversations all over the internet, right in the middle of a federal investigation. We got to shut this down. So out went the copyright strikes, which was a foolish move, because all this stuff was recorded. And so all anybody had to do was just upload it onto a site like BitChute, and then people would go to BitChute and they'd download it. And so now it's all over the place. Everybody has it. Everybody knows. More and more people every day get on Twitter, see somebody talking about Phil McConnell, they retweet it, they go in there, go to the link, hear the entire conversation, say, oh my goodness, Phil McConnell is in on this kidnapping. Oh boy. And so the word gets out. So yeah, you might find a way to knock me off the air, prevent me from going to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Colorado, and other places. But everything is out there already. Because not only me, but dozens of others are paying attention to what's going on. It's the old game of whack-a-mole. You silence one mole, another mole pops up. So you may shut me up one way or another, but you're not going to shut everybody up. You know, it's the old frontier. Now, if you remember back in the days where during the Revolutionary War you had these line of soldiers that would go down and they would take their muskets and they would shoot each other, and people in the first line would fall. And so the second line would come up, and you'd shoot them, and it goes on and on and on. It's like a war of attrition. But the damage is being done in the meantime, because people on the other side are getting shot. So that's what happens here. I mean, you can shut down this YouTube channel or that YouTube channel or this Facebook account, that Facebook account, or this Twitter account. But for everyone you shut down, 2 more are going to pop up. So you're not going to stop anything. You're just going to make matters worse. And so when the Blizzard Witch decided to start posting about me on Facebook, not only recently, but in the beginning, she put herself on the radar. Not only of me, but of a lot of other people, including law enforcement. See, I don't think the Blizzard Witch has thought this out, because law enforcement is keeping an eye on her too, because she's affiliated with Field McConnell. And the same goes for the woman that took pictures of the sign. She's got a criminal record. She's got a background. And this is made This has been brought to the attention of the authorities investigating this kidnapping. So there's a dossier on her, there's a dossier on other people. Actions have consequences. And people are going to find out eventually that their actions are going to have consequences. So if the Blizzard Witch wants to keep posting about me, fine. She wants to shut up and not post about me anymore. I don't care. It's too late. It's too late. No matter, she's in a no-win situation. Doesn't matter what she does, because she's already made that first step. She made it a long time ago. She got involved in something she should not have, as did the others. And now they're going to pay the price. Eventually, law enforcement's going to come a-calling. The twist ties are going to come out. They don't use handcuffs anymore. They use these fancy little zip ties. You're going to get put in the back of a police car. The Miranda warning's going to come out. And you're going to be hauled away. And your life is going to change forever, no matter what the outcome. Mark my words. You can sit there and laugh. You can make jokes. You can come up with cutesy little names. You can insult. You can lie. But in the end, the hammer's going to come down. And you're going to be done. Now, once again, I appreciate everybody putting up with my little conversation here. It looks like, at least today, I had something to talk about. And who knows what tomorrow is going to bring. So stay tuned. Be sure to like and subscribe so I can get 1,000 subscribers. This will help with my efforts to be mobile when the time comes. And if you feel it's worth your while, I have my Patreon up. Eventually I'm going to have PayPal up, and I might even put up a GoFund. So we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day. See you online. This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.